That seems to be working. I think
Great.
it's working. If there's anybody, I can see that there's 9 or so people already tuned in. If you want to just comment, I should, Piccia, before we begin, can I just do my little spiel to get people to go to the right place? Do you mind?
Please do it. Yeah, because also, where shall I send the people in my group? What's the best way to share to my group?
That's what I'll do. I'll do that now. Yeah. So here we go. Look there.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So the best way to comment on this is to go either to wpbuilds.com/live. That's obviously hosted on WP Builds, but it's YouTube. It's a YouTube live stream, just basically pasted onto the page with the comments beneath it. So if you comment over there, so that's wpbuilds.com/live, then you can comment. Alternatively, wpbuilds.com/Facebook. That's just a redirect to our Facebook group. It's not going to the page, Piccia, because we've played with the system.
Right.
We kind of think this is best. So either of those 2 URLs are going to work very well.
So shall I share that to my group then?
Yeah.
To the Design for Geeks group. I'll share the wpbuilds.com/live.
Yes.
Okay.
And wpbuilds.com/Facebook, which just gets you to the group. And look, Elliot Richmond says hi. And here we go. Leo Mindle. Hi, Leo.
Hey.
Yeah, you know it's going to be fun.
Very pleased.
Fun times. We've got Leo on call.
Fun times.
Speaking of fun times, would you look at my hair and then would you look at Piccia's hair? I think there's one can tell who has more care for their hair. Mine is only to be described as an explosion this morning, whereas yours is very well taken care of.
Is it?
Yeah, well, it looks that way. Leo says he's still alive. Speaking of which, yeah, we are in tricky times, aren't we? It's a difficult thing. I would recommend, by the way, if you have been forced into remote work or anything like that, over on the wpnup.org website, I can't tell you the exact URL because I don't know. But there's a whole great big page of recommendations for software that you could use and basically things like that. So that's wpnup.org, and then maybe Google search COVID-19 or something along those lines. Sorry, COVID-19. And then Giles, hello, Giles. Giles doesn't seem to have a YouTube avatar. Tut, Giles. There you go. But speaking of which, we're going to be getting on to Giles. But before we do that, I'll just say hello to Piccia. How you doing, Piccia? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you, because I'm like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of everyone else. So I've gone through my anxiety phase, and I'm dealing with things now. So I'm a little bit better off. But housebound. I mean, my life hasn't changed much because I was housebound before, and I feel now justified and in my behavior. But here in Spain, I'm just saying this because just in case anyone who's watching is still not taking it seriously, I'm begging you to please do it. And I know that not everyone can stay at home, but if you are lucky enough, like us, to work from home, then you should just do it. Take it seriously because it is serious. And I don't want the we're not going to do any gloom and doom. My attitude is that I'm trying to, in fact, do the opposite, focus on all the many, many great and beautiful things that still are around us. But in order to be responsible human beings, it's necessary to do our bit and stay home.
Yeah,
that's my point.
We're taking a similar approach. In the United Kingdom, the approach has been somewhat delayed, shall we say, to not
let's just qualify it. Let's not qualify it.
Okay, that sounds good because I don't want to go there. And but I've taken the decision that I'm going to go just basically isolate myself. So me, my 3 kids, and my wife, we're all in the house, so it's probably quite noisy out there. But we've made this decision, and here we are, just sort of stuck in. And it appears, breaking news in the UK, at least anyway, schools in Scotland and Wales are going to be shut from Friday. I don't know if that means like Friday morning they won't open, or if it means at the end of Friday. Anyway, one can only hope that that will be replicated across the whole of the United Kingdom ASAP. But it's very peculiar because you and I both operate on a working system which involves looking at computer screens. I work in my home, you're working in your home. So for me, life hasn't changed very much. It's just the occasional trips to the shop and all the kids' clubs and all that have kind of ground to a halt. But Anyway, there we go. COVID-19 bit over. Who else have we got? Oh, wow, says Elliot. You're in Spain, Stacey.
Yeah, he's right. Stay safe, because it seems absolutely incredible. It's totally surreal. Until a week ago, there was a huge festival here, Las Fallas. They do once a year in March, and it's a good 3 weeks of I think it gets to hundreds of thousands of people in the street. Until it was only last Wednesday that they cancelled it, and no one believed me. So I believe, Elliot, you're right, it's the worst place to be right now. It's better than other places because the health service is really good, but in terms of denial, they were in complete denial over here. And now, unfortunately, it's skyrocketing. It went from less than 1,000 a week ago, literally, and today, the last time I watched, it was nearly 14,000. And
whoa.
Until a week ago, they were literally at every day at 2 p.m. there would be about 50,000 people in the main square in town, all together at the same time. So please don't do it. I promise it's not good.
Yeah.
And not testing doesn't mean that people don't have it, because that's also something else they're not doing in there. Hey, Vito.
I'm guessing
Something
that's
else.
Vito.
I'm guessing too, yeah.
Yeah, could be Jan, I presume, these days. I don't know.
Could be Jan. Yes, it could be.
And Leo says,
did.
I'm very echoey. I am echoey today. My wife said the same thing. She just said to me, Nathan, you are really echoey today. So it's not the mic, it's just me. Let's get your screen up there, shall we, Piccia? Let's turn off that banner.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody knows. Now then. Let's add that to the screen. So just quick caveat, we might do a bit of a shorter one this week, maybe only 2 or 3 sites. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So this is our beloved Giles's project. It's a free project. It's actually, let's pretend, like I often do this. I just sort of pretend that, not pretend, sometimes it's true, but let's say that I know nothing about this, just like you. So what it's beta phase. So Giles they haven't finished it yet. It's being worked on at the moment, but because it's about mental health and I think it's going to be free, it's relevant for all of us. And I know that Giles and his team are actually pushing to make this available as soon as possible. So I think this is going to be more about the UX. And Giles, who is watching, I am aware that you're still working on it. And also, I'm not sure which plugin you use, but this is clearly a WordPress install. So there may be observations that I make and you'll say, well, I can't change that. And in that case, so be it. But I'm just going to go through the experience of enrolling into this course. And we're going to look at the course as well. Now, so this is the landing page. So what I would do if I were you, Giles. So there's a few observations about this. So this is presumably, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we looks like my own plugin, API set, first attempt. Okay. So what the actual course plugin, Giles, is that your own is that what you mean by your own plugin?
I think
that
maybe
you're
he
actually
you've
built your own course plugin. That is very impressive. We'll find out in a minute. While we find that out, so I presume that this is going to be like the landing page. So if people, when the course is launched, this web is where people will land before they enroll. I assume that this is what is going to be. So and also I know that you love the stick images. So but all I'm going to say about it is that to me, this image is way too complicated. My brain is having to make a whole lot of effort to work out what the image is trying to convey, and I don't get it. I mean, the only reason why I do get it a little bit is that I am no stranger to therapy, and even though I don't know this specific type of therapy, solution-focused brief therapy, but you have told me that what I do is similar. So for that reason, I know that it's about breaking old patterns and things like that. So that's why I'm able to interpret the image. In my opinion, I wouldn't do it. There's loads of research that proves that unless an image, I mean, complex images can work, but if they're clear, like for instance, the amazing Guardian newspaper infographics, they work because they're complex but really well thought out. So we make the intellectual effort. If an image doesn't have any particular reason to exist and it's too complicated, people just won't look at it. So you will not add anything. My suggestion would be to change your tag. You may go, nah, I don't want to do this, which is absolutely fine. But I think what's much more productive is to have an image that's evocative of a great state of being, because so you focus on what you will get through, the transformation. Once you've done this, how will you feel? And in this way, you could choose any image, any image that makes you feel good, anything, or anything that's symbolic, anything like that. Also, I hesitate to say that I am a photographer because I haven't taken photos for way too long, but I was a photographer for a decent length of time, and I still have loads of photos on Shutterstock because I can't be bothered to take them down, even though they're thieves. So it is kind of one of my specialities that I'm not using them much at the moment, but choosing symbolic meanings is something that I love doing. Happy to help you with it. I have loads of photos that you could use, but maybe you don't want to do it, which is absolutely fine. But I'm just telling you this image I think does for me, which is really not much. It's more about because you like it, which is fine, but then you should probably test it and see. I know that some of the people in our group love it, in which case fine. If more people love it than not, then that's great. So also one thing that I would do, ways forward 2020, separate the two words, because otherwise it doesn't, well, first of all, it's not very good for accessibility because it's full caps. So, and it's just all one word. So an accessibility reader, a web reader, will read it as WAYSFORWARD 2020, which is not ideal. Ways Forward, I think, is a great name. It's just brilliant. It makes me feel optimistic even just by reading it. So great, but do it like that. And also don't forget that I know a little bit about the project, but maybe people who land here wouldn't. So once we get into explaining what it is, it says, okay, solution-focused brief therapy is a popular style of therapy that focuses on arriving at solutions rather than overanalyzing problems. Completely, it's kind of cognitive behavioral therapy does something similar, and I know that this is maybe a branch of it. So its goal is to help you find and implement a solution to your issue or issues. Typo there, it's without apostrophe. To your issue or issues as soon as possible to minimize the time you spend struggling and suffering. Absolutely brilliant. We love this. So what I would do is I would change this in a little bit. Again, I know that this is beta, so you're probably working on it, but I would open with, rather than an image that's difficult to decipher, I would distill a paragraph or even just a strap line that condenses what the course does for people. Because I am looking at the user experience here, but let's not forget that good user experience and good marketing are one and the same. So what you want to do here is also, I don't think you want to make money with it, so it's even more easier for people to sell it to people. However, that's not the point. You still need for people to understand what it is that this does. And I think that this is a little bit too taxing on the brain. Also because, let's not forget that you're designing for a stressful situation. If people come here, they want your help. And a big part of UX is also thinking about the circumstances that people will be in when they approach your product. In this case, you're talking to presumably stressed people, or even if they're not stressed in a specific moment, they need help. So you want to explain to them what the course will do for them in one paragraph. There are various techniques that help you do this. One of the ways that you can get to it is by thinking, by finishing the sentence. I want to live in a world where. if you try and do this, it's just such an amazing way of getting to it. When I do the user persona exercises and all the various, the empathy mapping, all the various UX processes that you can do to get to what to put on your website, and it's amazing how much they help. One of the things is that is most helpful to do is the I want to live in a world where, and I have to thank Michael Killen for making me aware of this technique, first of all. If just to give you examples, Bill Gates in the late 70s said, I want to live in a world where there is a computer in every home. Now, he didn't sell computers, he sold software. So, but he obviously then that would help him sell his stuff if everybody had a computer. But it didn't matter. He didn't, he wasn't thinking about that. It was sort of selfless in a way. I mean, we know that, we know that he's a billionaire and then he did well out of it, but that's the whole point. So I'll give you an example. My waste recycling for businesses client, his I want to live in a world where is I want to live in a world where nothing goes to waste. Do you see what I mean? Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then when I did it with Leo's team and we did a rugby team, I want to live in a world where that we got to at the end of 2 days of workshop was I want to live in a world where every single rugby fan can afford to buy a season ticket. Do you see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So you get to this and this, so it's something that immediately tells the people that land on this page why they're here and what this course is going to do for them, rather than them having to work it out. Because also I find this first paragraph absolutely clear. Even so, it takes me a while to read it. Also, because you probably want to make it bigger. Sorry, I'm just going as if you knew what I'm pointing at. You see my mouse, don't you? Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you
we can see the mouse.
So I would put it. Also, I wouldn't center. Everybody who knows me knows I don't like centering. Just put the title here and to the left, align left, and put a bigger paragraph here that that expresses what the course does in a very short sentence. Because even though I find it clear, then it may also, I don't know whether it's because I actually know what this therapy does. Maybe there's that as well. I'm familiar with a technique. I'm familiar with therapy in general, so maybe. So let's read the second paragraph. This course will teach you how to apply SFBT to your problems and difficulties. Each lesson has an interactive you miss and the interactive SFBT session. I'm not nitpicking, I'm being helpful, so I'll spot your typos so you don't have to. Written by qualified SFBT practitioners and includes analysis summaries, next step planning, and homework suggestions. Over 4 lessons, you will learn how to identify the changes you want, explore how you would like things to be, identify your progress, and develop the helpful things that you're doing. So this is kind of what you want to distill in a sentence to put up here, because you want to tell people the transformation. You want to give them a brief vision of what's going to happen for them at the end. That's what they you should tell them, really. So this is the course content. You can expand and have a look at.
By the way, this is done with Lifter LMS, I think he said. Yeah.
Oh, Lifter LMS. So
it's his own plugin.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, is Lifter, but the interaction is his own plugin.
Okay,
so
great.
Right.
So in that case, that's good to know, because there's very little that you can't do with Lifter LMS. So you will be able to do, I think, to implement anything. Excuse me. That I suggest. So this is the navigation up here is really clear. Current status, not enrolled. Price, free. Get started. Log in to enroll. Okay. I am going to click on log in to enroll. So one thing I'm going to say, one thing that I usually don't like so much is when things are active and they go a weaker color, simply because that's usually when things are inactive. If something is inactive, it's grayed out. So if this goes nearly gray, then it makes me think it's not active. So just use the same color the same hue, just change the brightness and make it darker instead of lighter. That would be, or less saturated. That would be my suggestion. So I'm going to click on login to enroll, and I am going to create a completely new login. So here, I really like this because it's on top of it. So I can, if I want, I can do this. So that's great. So I've got options and I've got a way out. Brilliant. I'm not sure whether I think maybe I will swap them round, but this is that I'm not having any real reason for this. So if I have a login, if I've already got a login, I put it in here. Otherwise, register an account. So this works for me because it's something is happening. And it's very clear that this is active. So I'm just gonna click on register an account. That's cute. I liked what it did. I'm just gonna do it again because I don't know if you saw it.
That was not. Oh, you got to refresh.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I won't do it then. But it was a cute, nice animation. Really liked it. So I am gonna call myself Peaches, and I'm gonna use my info email. I don't care if people see it. Everybody knows my email anyway.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So and I'm gonna click on register username and email, and I'm gonna click on register.
Then we wait.
It's a bit slower because everybody's at home. And
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's nice.
Here, this is really nice. It tells me really clearly what's happened. And so that's really great. I don't know if it's possible, Giles, but in this case, could you get rid of this? It's just distracting. Although it may come in useful when I get back here again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off this screen, and desperately I have about 30,000 open windows, and one will have my email in it.
I was talking to a friend the other day who showed me his screen, and he had 24,500 unopened emails.
Oh no, I have 8,467 in my Gmail account.
Oh
yeah, definitely. And I have
painful.
if I open my mail app, that has 25 something.
These are all unopened.
To set your password. So I got an email, nice and easy. To set your password, visit the following address. I mean, I guess there could be sort of smoother ways of doing this, but I'm fine with it because we do the best we can, really. So this is it. Enter your new password below. Reset password. So this is always, I find this, I know that this is a little bit, this is WordPress. I find this always a little bit like, well, reset it, but I didn't. So that's this is the WordPress interface. So I don't know if I'm just, it's an observation. It may that, you know, you can't change it. And it's just like, but I didn't reset it. I never had it. Is this I'm setting it. So this is, so back to ways forward. So let's see what happens here. So this is not good because this is different. This is, in fact, the page that y'all should know about because you need to sign up to be notified when it goes out of beta. So that's not good, though, because it's not where I want to be. But I suppose, do you know what I mean? I should not have been here because
and I can't see a login link there. I don't know.
So, but at the same time, though, it's also true that this is in beta. So, so that's why. So it's not actually courses. It's I need to find it.
Just click back. Yeah.
Do this.
Courses way forward -2.
So, so see, this is where now that I've come back, it gets a little bit confusing because I've got too much going on. So now I've come back to that page. So I guess I would refresh. So see, I refresh and still get this. So this is a little bit confusing. If there's any way of making that whole journey a little bit smoother so that when I come back here, I don't have all this stuff going on. It's good that it filled in the password. That's good. But at the same time, there's way too more than I need going on this page. So it was the info.
Or peaches with a capital P.
Or peaches with a capital P. So here we are. I'm going to save it actually. So here we are. We're in the course, and I am going to go and go into the lesson content. And I've used Lifter LMS, and I have also been on countless courses. So here. Here, obviously, this is still needs to be finished. So what I am going to do here, and also clearly the stick people are at the branding. So anyway, so I'm going to mark complete. This is one of the things with Lifter LMS that I'm not sure are always good. That they require, before you can carry on, you need to complete. And I'm not sure whether that's always good. And also, I'll show you where for instance, here, because it's green, Giles, I think it's complete. So I have been blocked in my journey sometimes because I thought it was complete because it's green. And to me, green signifies complete. So make this another color. Maybe it could be the blue. Make it the blue of all buttons. So be always consistent. If your buttons, decide on because this requires learning on my part, and actually it's the second time or third time that I go through this, because I did look at it earlier, and even though it was green, even though I've done it before, I still, to me, automatically, if it's there's two things that throw me off the scent. First of all, it's because it's green, and in the second place, it's already got the tick. So maybe make it a different color. Instead of a tick, have a square here, and then when I have marked it complete, then have it with a tick. See how confusing it is? Now, where am I? I'm not sure where I am.
I think you've gone through two lessons in that particular, well, two parts of that particular lesson, but it looks as though you completed the second one, even though you hadn't.
Exactly. And then also what here, the other confusing thing is that here, what I think is, because there are in fact two steps. One is completing
those two things.
Those two things, because I will call it module, maybe module, and then the ones inside the items lessons. Inside are lessons, because that's already confusing. So here now I think, okay, this is complete, because even though I've done it twice, I still think in my head this is complete, and you're the ambiguity is enhanced by the fact that here I have the green tick, and I know I've completed those. So I think this is completed. So if I go now, think, okay, well, it's strange, because in order to carry on, I have to go back to the course. So I go back to the course, and I go down, and then I go to welcome, and I go to here, and it tells me go back and complete the previous lesson. I'm like, why? This is exactly what I did earlier, Giles.
It looks like 50% of the first one was only marked as completed. Look, there was a tick the mark as completed.
Now I need to and now after basically the way it works is I complete the items, that's how I call them, but that doesn't mean I've completed the lesson. I have now to mark the lesson complete, but I am confused because I have a green tick here and a green tick here, and I know I've completed these. Now I have to do this. And now it takes me to the next one. So this is the issue that I have, and I will very quickly go to the. So also I would recommend, this is big enough. It's not like it's too small, but because if you're not planning to do a video lesson, then make the text bigger. Make it, because not everybody likes to read. I like reading, but not everybody does. So maybe make the text bigger. Or maybe have screens, so have one big paragraph on one screen, then get people to scroll through or go through pages. I may be wrong about this one, but this is how I feel about it, because otherwise you lose my interest. So, and I'm going to mark complete, because I just want to go through, because I want to get to the bits where it's interactive. Okay. However, for all the people that are in need of help right now, let's consider this. This is really going to help. So because it's solution based, and I think so. look, I want to actually read this quickly. The process of SFBT generally involves some or all of the following dimensions of strategies. Visualizing the future you desire and the changes you want to see. I cannot stress enough how helpful this is. It doesn't mean that you have to have rose-tinted glasses. It just means that instead of dwelling on horrible things, you dwell on what you know can happen and will happen again, such as, you know, the sun rising tomorrow or things like that. Identifying the better times and so on. All these things are actually scientifically proven. There's neuroscience that proves that you can alter your brain by visualizing better things, really. And also there's quantum physics involved as well that proves this. This stuff works, people. So especially at a time like this, and I know because I am a certified ex-wallower, and I'm still learning. Also, I come from a family of people that just the best thing is to dwell on the past and all the regrets and be horrified by the present and so on. It doesn't help, even in really tough times. It actually achieves the opposite. These things are very, very interesting, and I would very highly recommend trying them out. They are not only strategies, they are actually scientifically proven to work. There's a fella called Joe Dispenza, who's a neuroscientist, and you should all check him out because that's what he says, and it works. So this course is going to be very, very helpful for you. I really would like to stress that in these difficult times. So I'm going to mark complete again. So now again, I have to now we know it is not difficult to learn this. I've now learned, but I may well miss it if I'm not thinking.
Would you recommend a change of language there instead of mark complete? Maybe something like next step or proceed or something. Would that be helpful at that?
No, I think mark complete is fine. I just think that it's the visuals that throw me off the scent, and also it's not. And I've had it in every single course I've done that used this piece of software, and I was always confused. I was like, well, I thought I'd finished, because to me, once you've completed. Well, in this case, as we said, the issues are also the color and the tick. But in general, even when you've completed all the lessons, so I'm just trying to go back again. When I've completed all the lessons inside a module, it's not going back. It still needs me to mark completed. That's what I've always found weird. So you have to complete all the lessons, and then on top of that, you have to mark the whole unit, the whole module as complete. So that's something that the software does that I find a little bit weird. So I'm going to just carry on, because there was at one point you get to an interaction. So here it explains. I don't know, Giles, whether the interaction is working already. Maybe you want to tell us. I don't know whether we'll get there, but I'm just going to carry on completing, because I got to the point where there was an interaction.
Okay. I should just say we should probably send this video to Chris Badgett from Lifter LMS and to get him to have a sort of, probably an interesting.
Because I mean, it's a brilliant piece of software. It's amazing how much it does. And
he says yes.
Interaction 1 is working. Okay, great. Interaction
is number 1 is working.
Jonathan Ross.
Go back to the first breadcrumb, he says. Presumably
go back to the first
way forward 2020.
So here it goes.
Oh, there we go. Run interaction.
So I've got it here. Giles, I assume I'm in the right place. So I'm going to go to, you can continue. So this completes your introduction to SFBT and ways forward. Feel free to go back and review on any topics if you need at this point. If you're tired, you can break here, come back when you're ready. You can continue on to run interaction 1. So run interaction. See, that's where I got before. It may be, is it because it's in beta? I didn't see any. So checklist. Okay, so this is, I think, something to correct, because I think this link might work, but it won't work until I mark complete.
Oh, okay.
See? So, and now I have to mark complete here. So that button there is confusing me because it doesn't see. And now I'm there. Okay.
Got it.
So yeah, got it. So click when you're ready to begin. Okay. So that works. Please select your first track. If this is your first time, we usually recommend working from left to right. So the changes you want. Yeah. So this program is designed to help with all kinds of issues and difficulties. What would you like this program to help you with? Okay, so now you have to write. Okay, I see. Okay, so I'm just going to write. Okay, can I just say, because UX is so much about copy as well. And I have actually recently really looked quite closely into how to do surveys, because I've just done the module and I'm still building the UX for Everyone course. And I did recently completed the module on surveys, and it's all about how to formulate questions. Now, imagine that you're someone who's really stressed out and horrified by stuff that's going on and very worried. I may be wrong, Giles, just let me know. But if this were a survey, I would say this is not a recommended way of formulating the question, because you're asking someone who's stressed out to come up with answers to a very, very difficult question. What I would suggest here is to give, and I'm sure that with Lifter LMS you can do it, is to give people a multiple choice set of answers, such as anxiety, depression, fear for the future, a whole number, like as many as you want, really, with the options to choose, maybe up to 5 or even as many as you want. And then an other option that lets people write down. But in general, whenever you're asking people to write something, it's a tall order. And especially if you're in a stressful situation, it's an even taller order. So you may have your reasons. You probably, I'm sure that you know more than me about this, but in pure UX terms, this is what I would tell you. I would say you need to help your user, because people may feel completely overwhelmed by this. And I may well be wrong, but let me know what you think, Giles. So this is what I would do. But anyway, my answer would be right now, I would like to be helped with hopelessness.
I can hear your cat.
I know. You know that he always photobombs, but now he's just being annoying because
he's just meowing in the background.
He just wants to be on my lap, but because I just can't go over it. Anyway, let's say hopelessness. So I don't know what this is. So this is confusing because it's doing nothing. So I'm sure that you will change that. So this is perfect. Exactly what I was saying earlier. So see, the button is blue and it goes darker when I hover over it. So that great. So hopelessness, I'm going to click on next question. Again, you're asking me. I think that you should be telling me that. You should be telling me what might be different by the end. What am I going to achieve with this? Or at least give me suggestions, because to be honest, I feel like it's personally, this is just me, but I would feel like, oh God, I don't know. I don't know what to answer. So, but let's say that, I would say, I don't know, feel stronger. By the way, I'm assuming, I can think of more, go to next question, change track. I'm not sure what I can think of more means. So I'm gonna click on this because I want to find out what that means. I can think of more. Oh, and what else? Maybe just do something else. So go to next question. Ooh, okay. So here, none of these are required. Okay, none of these are required. So back to current. So because none of these are required, I actually feel a bit lost. I don't know where I am anymore. So I would suggest a few things actually. Have it's always also, because this is so similar to a survey, really similar to a survey, and I've just done such a huge, actually, I'll give you that lesson, Giles. Actually, I'll give you access to the course, but I want to know where I am, and I think it would be really helpful if you numbered the questions, and if you had like a slider or something that tells me where I am in the questions. Because also I don't know how long it's going to take, and if people are stressed out or feeling low, whatever, and they go, oh my god, I don't have the time, I can't be bothered. How many more questions are there? So you help them out by letting them know where they are. If it's possible to save and come back, then that would be great. And also another thing here is that these things, these buttons are all doing a different thing. They're not doing the same thing. So I would make them a different color, because I'm finding it confusing now that they all perform the same action every time, but they different from one another, and they all look the same. So that's what I would do here. And let's go. So I also, one thing that I find amazing is that I presume, Giles, that you're going to go over all the questions, which is incredible. It's just such an incredible. Wow, it's really impressive. Yeah, I have not built that bit yet. I suspect it's as much. So
you're going to have your homework cut out, Giles. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing tonight, Giles. I've just decided you're going to replay this, aren't you? And see all the goodness.
So end of this track. Okay, so that completes this track. It's explore the changes that you like to happen. Okay, great. So the more you put in, the more ways forward can help. So I assume go to feedback. So Giles, this is incredible. So I assume that then when people so if I go to feedback, wow, we'll now feedback some of your questions. So I assume this is going to be done personally. Try track 4. So it's a huge amount of work on your part. That's fantastic. That's incredible. So okay,
how do we get to track 4?
Yeah, how do we get to track 4? That's a really good question, because the only way, also track 4, I'm confused now, because is it interaction or track? It's you're using 2 different labels, and therefore that's I'm not sure where I am or where I should be. So
it's too late now. I don't know why it's too late now.
Why it's too late now? Whatever is too late now. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go back, and I will find track 4.
Lesson 1, is it?
Interaction 1.
Interaction 1.
Oh, he means, okay, once we're in the tracks.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Yeah. Interaction 1. I think the tracks are in interaction 1. Okay, so this is something, I don't know whether you said that was too late, but if the tracks are important, then I would make sure that people can navigate to the tracks. And that's also one thing that I think you can change in Lifter LMS. I would not make it imperative to complete everything before you can move on to the new thing. Although it's not here. It's not here. I mean, I think that here is okay. So this is okay. Great. So this is what I was saying earlier, actually. So imagine a scale from 0 to 10. 10 is where you would like to get to after all the changes you want to have happened. 0 is the other end. Right now, where are you on the scale? I'm gonna let's be optimistic on a 7. So here, these 2 things, if they do nothing, they're confusing. So next question, again, same observation here that I made earlier. What is happening at the moment that shows you? Again, here I possibly can't be bothered to write an answer. That is something that you need to take into account, because it might be the reality. So if you can give people a series of questions plus the ability to write for those who want to do it, because on the other hand, there may be people that actually can't wait to write down, can't wait to vent via the written word. So I'm just going to say I have been working at it for a while, and my strategies are working. Also, the I can think of more is also as a label is a little bit unclear, I think. Also because there's still room here. This possibly should be triggered in case they run out of space, but I don't know. Anyway, so go to next question. What have you done that has helped you to get to 7? To me, that's a little bit what you asked me before. I don't know whether I see the difference very much in that question. Then I'm just going to go to the next question. Oops. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What's happened? That's not you, it's me for sure. So again, so it's lots of screens. I'm really impressed with how thorough this is. It's just amazing, really, really amazing. So back a step, and now it's not going back. I blame everybody in my building working from home. That's what I blame.
It's the global internet that's the problem.
It's global internet. No, I think it was also my trackpad that just went mad and clicked forward. So basically, but that's just, who wrote next down? I didn't. The green gremlin is in the computer.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Anyway, so again, the navigation for people to know where they are, I think is really important. And funny enough, that's also what I'm doing right now in the course. I was dealing with navigation today, doing a navigation lesson. So you want people to always know where they are, because even within the same lesson, I swear I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not. It's just. I am not doing that.
Do not make me think.
Anyway, so give, if you can, navigation to the user in these screens, because I don't know where I am, and all the buttons. I don't want you now to go and make every button like a rainbow, but differentiate in some way. I'm not even sure, you would need testing and trying out. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily the right answer, but I am finding it confusing. They all look exactly the same. And also, I don't know where I am. I have no idea now, also because that happened, but it could happen to other people, whether I've gone through 1,000 questions or not. But also, I don't know if you've done this before, Giles, but if you have to go through a survey, having to go through open text like 1,000 open text questions is going to give you so much work, and it's going to be very, very difficult to analyze. If you have guided answers, not guided in the sense that they're leading, not at all, but if you have the multiple choice answers plus an open text option where necessary, that's going to be much more helpful for you, and it's going to make it much easier for you to analyze and see what's wrong with people. Because say that 100 people take this course, can you imagine how much you have to wade through? And and also bearing in mind that some people really will not. Some people will absolutely love it, and they write essays for every question, which you won't like, and others won't feel like it, and they won't fill them in, which you won't like either. So I would recommend looking at that, and I will pass on the surveys lesson that I did in the hope that it's helpful. All in all, I am unbelievably impressed by all the work that you've done.
Isn't it?
It's
really
fabulous.
Great project.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. Yeah, so grateful for it. I'm just going to mark complete here. So this completes our first session. Many people find it helpful to allow a week or so before lesson 2 while they use the homework to apply their action plan and notice the better times. Some find it, so this is like interactive therapy. That's what it is, which is amazing. Another thing that I would clarify is what is the homework. It could be my point. yeah. Yeah, Giles is saying open text questions is a really good point. I need to pass that back to the practitioners. Oh, okay, so obviously it's not just you.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's actual therapists. So yeah, and feel free to pass on that video. I'll pass it on to you, Giles. I'll give you free access to it. It's not clear to me here what the homework is. What we went through the homework? So I would give some thought to the labeling and the navigation, because also, again, in stressful times, we need to know where we are. So if you can in any way add navigation to the lessons, do add it, because it's going to help. And also people may want to get back to it. Also, is it possible to save? I don't know. I'm sure that a Lifter LMS can do anything. It will make coffee for you if you ask nicely. So I'm sure that you will be able to save something like this and come back to it later, which is something you might want to consider, again, because we're dealing with people who are under duress. So I think it would be overwhelming if we go on, because it's been like I've been talking for 45 minutes.
This. I think Giles has had the longest interaction that you've ever done, which is really nice from his point of view. He's got to have a whole ton of information spilled in, but an important message at this time.
An important message at this time. Yeah. And he gets, just to be clear to everyone, that the reason why this project got a special treatment is that, guys, it's free therapy, and it's an amazingly helpful thing to have to do. So it's like it's a fantastic project, and we wanted to support it. Yeah. Also, as usual, I hope that a lot of the observations I made were helpful in general, because as usual, these observations are applicable to everything and everyone. And so one thing that is really great is that it tells me that last activity was on March 18th at 2:57 p.m. So that's really helpful, because I'm using a VPN. Everybody thinks I'm where I'm not.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm sure Giles would say a big thank you. In fact, he does. Look, it's not a big thank you because it can't be big, but there it is. That's a thank
I hope
you.
it was useful, Giles, and I hope I was nice enough.
Oh,
okay, great. Really helpful. Okay, great. Thank you. Makes me feel better.
Yeah, thank you for your input, Piccia, with that. That's really helpful. Normal service, I guess, will resume next time. We're going to have to knock it on the head there, because I've, in the spirit of co-working and working from home, my office is now being sequestered by my wife at various times of the day. So I'm getting booted out in about 5 minutes so that she can do what she needs to do. So thank you for those people who watched. I appreciate that it was a bit different. We didn't have 3 or 4, we had just 1, but I think absolutely Ways Forward is an important project at this time.
Can I just say, before you finish, Nathan, that in a half hour, I'm going to be doing more reviews in the Design for Geeks group. So if anyone wants to join that.
I got a URL for that. Yeah, there you go. Look, facebook.com/groups/design for geeks. Go join Piccia's group right now. And if you didn't, then you can probably see it on a catch-up or something like that. Thank you, Piccia. Thanks particularly for going deep on one particular project that we all probably could do with right now. Piccia, I'm gonna press pause after I've muted everybody and put the slide up, and I'll see you in a minute. Don't hang up. So see you later, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.